All right, hi. So I've been using like physical notebooks, whatnot, for a lot of my writing over this past month. Not a full month. I don't think I've timed that perfectly. In fact, I know I didn't. But yeah, I've been using physical notebooks, and I just kind of wanted to give a little update on how that's going since that was one of the first videos I did on this channel. It's going pretty good. I'm definitely not as I'm not as like fully on board as I was when I started out, and I knew that would kind of be the case because it's like I can't do everything on a notebook. Because I write stuff for the internet, and it's not fully practical, obviously, and like there's a point where I got to start just typing stuff out. Um, but yeah, it's been pretty good. I think I'm finding a pretty good balance. Um, One benefit I've noticed is I have to be very intentional. Like if I'm taking a notebook with me, I have to be very intentional about like which one I take because I have a few and I only really use one right now because I'm only really working on that one project. But I have a few, and so there's this like intentional like, oh hey, I have to bring a notebook and it's got to be the one I need. Um, but that's been pretty good. That's I think a nice benefit because I have to be very intentional about what I'm doing, and therefore I'm very intentional about how I'm spending that time. So that's been a nice benefit. Though obviously there's a point where it's just like it's good for like the very beginning process of writing, but I've started to find that it's not as helpful when you are revising or when you're trying to like create something more permanent that you're going to refer back to a lot. Not because it has less to do with like the form factor and more so just like it's hard to create this like so for example I'll just use the thing I'm currently working on. So I'm trying to create like a master doc for my upcoming web novel. Just a quick place to refer back to anything I might need to refer to. It'll contain like the structure of the story. It'll contain like a loose outline of certain lore events, all that junk, whatever, character bios, all that. It is like, sorry, I'm messing with bottle caps. But anyway, it's just like a full like reference sheet essentially for anything I might need while I'm writing. Um, and so because of that, it's a little hard to format that on a notebook. Because I'm like going back, I'm rearranging data, whatnot. It's just the things you do when you have a computer and you're doing stuff that way. Um, so that's been one challenge, and so that's a case where it's like no, it is a little better just to type it up on my iPad. Uh, but the one place I have really noticed it's very good is for just move crap. I gotta clean my desk up. Um, but it's for journaling because I'm still using like a digital. I've been using the Apple journaling app for some things. Um, but this is actually really good just for like raw thoughts. Like it is a different mental practice, and I feel like I get a lot more out of journaling when I sit down with a pen and this book and I just write. I'm sure I'll refine this process more, and like refine like what parts of my creative process are physical, what parts are digital. Because I'm trying to be less like all or nothing and just be more like okay, what actually works best for each use case, because it's not that I want to like root out technology completely. It's more so it's a lot less distracting to use pen and paper, and I don't know, I just it's a little it feels good because you feel like you're engaging in this like time tested human right of like passage where it's like, oh yeah, I have these ideas, so I'm gonna get a pencil and some paper and I'm gonna write it all out. And so like that's pretty creatively fulfilling, especially in the initial part of this process. So for me, it's been helpful to like kick a project off, um, and I will probably stick with that as my like just first draft. Um, I tried that out towards the end of the last school semester for a paper, and that worked pretty well. Um, so, I will probably stick with it for that and then just keep use like, my computer for more, um, I guess polished pieces, or stuff that like is either supposed to be very easy and convenient to access or stuff that's like to be shared, right? Because like with this whole master doc thing, I do kind of want it to be something where if I could send it to like a potential collaborator, say I get like a friend or something to work on a small part of the series with me, it'll be much easier just to send them a file than screenshot my notebook. But I do think it's a cool thing to have. I'm not trying to dump on it because, like I said, I found it really helpful. Especially if I don't want to bring my computer with me. So that's been nice. And I'll keep doing that. But yeah, so there we go. No, quick little update how I'm using paper. I do recommend if you're like a writer or you're really just a creative in general, I really recommend seeing what spaces you can kind of like decentralize these things. I'm still working on it. Because I would like to use this less, but I also don't want to hate using this when I do, if that makes sense. So it's finding a balance. One thing I have started doing that helps with that. This is a little sidebar that's not really related to the broader topic of paper. But I have completely removed social media from this, and I've been using just I've been using social media apps from my iPad, which is not which wasn't ideal for a long time, but I'm on like the new iPad OS 6 no 26 beta whatever,